Hi, my name is Robin May. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm so excited to start this content finally. And it's taken me so long to do that, and that is exactly what I'm going to be talking about in today's video. If your old content doesn't fit anymore, that is okay. Posting is not supposed to feel like you're proving yourself. You probably don't hate content creation. You probably just hate performing. And a lot of us get trapped into that cycle when it comes to our content. We're so fixated and hyper aware on how we're going to be perceived, what other people might think of what we're doing, all of the negative comments that you might get, whatever that is. And so every time it comes time to create content, it becomes this performance that you have to master. And you're seeking perfection and you're seeking validation. And nothing really feels as authentic when you're in that place. So this video might actually be the permission that you have been needing this whole time. And today we're going to talk about what no one tells you about posting content. So lately I've been thinking a lot about how easy it is to feel stuck. Not because we don't know who we are, but because we haven't given ourselves permission to see things differently. So this year for me, instead of setting a bunch of resolutions, I'm starting a series called The Reframe. This series is not about fixing yourself. It's really about shifting your perspective. So my commitment is that every week I'm going to be sharing a reframe episode, whether it's about identity, confidence, habit, overall just becoming. And this is especially for the girls who feel like they're in between versions of themselves. This is for the girls who are evolving quietly and maybe feel a little bit misunderstood while doing it. So think of this as a place to really pause, reflect, and come back to yourself. A reframe from the source. So really here, there's no fixing, there's no pressure, and we're really just looking for clarity. So welcome to The Reframe. So today we're going to be talking all about how we can reframe how we perceive social media. And I think a lot of us at this point just feel so exhausted. And it's not because we're doing too much per se, but it's because we're performing too much. For me, I got into the industry of content creation through modeling, and modeling itself has a very performative aspect to it. You know, you show up, you want to make sure that everybody is going to enjoy you on set, you're likable, you're personable, you know, even if you had a bad day, bad night the night before, you didn't sleep well, you have anxiety, whatever, you kind of just have to put this mask on and show up as the most energetic, happy, beautiful version of yourself. And so I feel like I took a lot of what I learned while being on set and I started to apply it in the content creation space. And for me, that has become so tiring because I feel like as much as the things I'm sharing are still authentic to me, I'm still sharing things that I like, I'm not sharing it in what feels like my authentic voice. For a long time, I was treating social media like a stage, something I showed up for, performed on, and then after I would click that post button, I would turn everything off and I would go back to myself. I started to notice that even when my content looked good, I still didn't feel like I was really connecting with my community online. And that's when I kind of noticed stagnance in my social media growth. I noticed that I was kind of only attracting the same type of people, and my community online wasn't really growing in a way that I wanted to grow. And I think if I'm gonna take a lot of accountability and responsibility for this, not because I didn't know what to post, it was more so just that my intentions were just not really aligned with my posting. So you'll start to notice this misalignment when you feel like you're chasing engagement, you're overthinking captions, you're feeling like everything you post needs to mean something, and you're feeling a lot of pressure about monetizing or even just explaining yourself. When you're coming from a very performative place, you start to ask questions in your head like, is this good enough? Is this gonna land? And does this make sense for my brand? And again, these are not bad questions to ask. These questions make a lot of sense. However, if you are somebody feeling very exhausted in your content creation journey and you're almost feeling ready to give up, but there's still a part of you who really wants to do this, this is where the reframe for you might need to happen. So my new affirmation and kind of manifesto around social media has become: social media doesn't need to be a performance. It can be a practice of presence. So instead of all those questions about, is this content going to perform well? Instead, I'm asking questions like, what perspective am I offering? What feels true to me right now? And what does this content reflect about who or how I'm becoming? So when we talk about presence, I feel like we immediately think about how much we can share. And presence is not about oversharing. And it doesn't mean you have to be deep all of the time. Right now, even in this moment, this video, when I'm hearing myself speak, it feels deep. And really, I'm just sharing with you guys some of the thoughts that have come across my mind. And I feel like it's important to talk about because people are not talking about this. It doesn't always need to be that elaborate. You can still have privacy and be present. So for me, this just means showing up honestly, and that can be in any of the content that I like to make, whether it's fashion, whether it's lifestyle, whether it's movement related, or just showing your everyday life. Sometimes you just need to put a little bit of deeper intention into it. The real key with operating from a place of presence is that you're not trying to convince anyone of anything. And you're just allowing people to actually recognize themselves in you. So you just naturally will have that relatability standpoint. The more authentic you are, you cannot convince or control people into wanting to be like you or emulate you or listen to you. That's the biggest thing I've noticed, even from the creators that I love to watch. I just love watching them because I feel like, wow, we're friends. I feel that relatability aspect. You can't force that. So now the biggest shift that I'm making in my content is really how I perceive the content that I'm even creating. For me, I'm seeing a lot of the things that I love as rituals, not just hobbies, not just habits. I'm not placing any connotations on whether they're good or bad. I'm really seeing them as rituals. So, for example, I realize that I truly love fashion as a form of self-expression. I start to like it less and less when I feel like I'm getting dressed to show off or get external validation, have someone tell me I'm wearing a cool outfit. I love fashion when it feels playful. And I feel like for a long time, I was not being playful because I was worried about being perceived too much. So now, one thing that I've been pushing myself to do is wear more color. And I know that sounds really simple, but as you can see from this entire side of my wardrobe, it's all black. And I love wearing black because I feel like there is a very sexy and can be mysterious energy towards it. However, I do want to spend more time on this side of my wardrobe and exploring that because it feels fun, it feels playful, and it feels like a new way to express myself. So for you, this might be how you move your body. Maybe you can practice, instead of focusing on calories burned or measuring yourself or weighing yourself, you can just simply practice moving your body because it feels good. So I want to end this video off by saying, if social media feels heavy for you, nothing is wrong with you. Maybe it just needs a reframe, less performance and more presence. And that's your reframe for today.